Hi, I'm Kayla, and this is my story. Please like and subscribe. My dad used to be a basketball player for the national team, but he had to quit after a serious sports injury and a permanent limp. But he didn't give up his passion and became a basketball coach. He was my inspiration to always work hard.
Always remember, Kayla, the harder you work, the higher you go.
I was a very tall kid from the start, and while everyone around me thought I was a little weird, I loved and embraced my height. Hey, how's the weather up there? The weather is great. The view, not so much. When I turned 10, I got into basketball just like him, and I loved it. I worked really hard, and by the time I was 16, I was the best player in town, and also won a sports scholarship to a great school, which was in Dad's old hometown. On my first day in my new high school, everyone stared at me, but this one girl, Heidi, was the weirdest. She was the mayor's kid and a total brat. And even worse, she was on the girls' basketball team too. During the first day of practice, the coach introduced me to the team.
Kayla's one of the best players in town, and we're lucky to have her on the team.
As if I can take that giant down in one shot. Excuse me? Did you say anything? I was just saying that being tall doesn't make you the best player. I have the skills to beat you. Really? I'd love to see you try. Heidi and I had a one-on-one match, and I totally owned her. The coach was super impressed and asked me to take over as the team captain. I was over the moon.
Wow, that was impressive.
I looked behind to see a cute guy towering over me. For the first time ever, I'd seen a boy taller than me. Well, thank you.
I don't think I've ever seen Heidi get this angry. You did a fab job. I'm Jay, by the way.
Jay was in my class and the captain of the boys' basketball team, not to mention the hottest guy around. After that day, Jay and I started hanging out a lot and even trained together in school. By the time we were in our senior year, Jay was my best friend and we were always together. Things were great, and when I broke the record for highest baskets in a season, Jay was the first one to cheer for me.
Wow, look at you. You had a great season.
Well, thank you. It wouldn't have been so good if it wasn't for your grueling training.
Well, you're welcome. It's been a pleasure to work with you.
As we were talking, I opened my locker and was bombarded with glitter shots. My clothes, face, books, and even Jay's clothes were covered in pink sparkles.
Wow, looks like you have a secret admirer.
More like a hater. We both know who this is. Oh my God, just when I thought you couldn't look any worse, you show up in a full face of glitter. Is that a new makeup trend? For losers? I wouldn't know since I just had the perfect season. How was yours? Scored any baskets? Cheeky are we? But hey, look, you've ruined Jay's clothes too. Just like you're ruining his reputation by hanging out with him. Why don't we ask him?
Don't look at me. I just want to get changed. I am terribly late for class.
As Jay left, Heidi stared at me with death in her eyes. What is your problem? You've been after me since the day I came here. I want you to pay for what your dad did to my dad.
What?
What did he do? And isn't your dad like the mayor? Yes, he is. But your dad made him miserable in school. He was a bully, and I'm gonna take his revenge on you. Someone's gotta pay. I think you're confusing my dad with someone else, weirdo. I walked off quickly. This girl was crazy and just making things up. My guess was that she hated me, mostly because I was close to Jay and she had the biggest crush on him, which she didn't hide. A few days later, while I was in the locker room changing, I heard Jay screaming my name. What's wrong? Why do you look like someone stole your Air Jordans?
It's not funny, Kayla. Do you really mean it?
How am I supposed to know? You tell me. Did someone steal your Air Jordans?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this note you left me. And I understand how you feel, but this is all just a bit of a shock to me.
I was so confused until I took the note from Jay's hand and saw that it was a love confession from me. And I didn't even write it. I had a feeling Heidi had something to do with this. But before I could say anything, I saw her walking out of the gym. So I just grabbed Jay by the collar and kissed him.
Wow, that was
weird, I know, but just play along. Heidi's watching us. I'm sure she's the one who sent you the note. This is nonsense. Look at the handwriting carefully. It looks like a first grader wrote that. I've seen her assignments, and trust me, she writes exactly like that. Besides, do you really think I'd write such creepy, cheesy stuff?
Yeah, but why would she do that?
She likes you. Isn't it super obvious? And maybe she thought this note would make you freak out. But the joke's on her. I'm sure her butt's on fire.
So you don't like me? And this note is just a stupid prank?
Of course. What did you think?
Yeah, of course. I was sure it was a joke too.
Just then, the craziest idea struck me. We could totally pretend to like each other to piss Heidi off. So for the next few weeks, every time Heidi was around Jay and me, I would hug him or loop my arms in his and pretend to be lost in love. Oh, Jay, your eyes remind me of basketballs.
Ew. How about this? Kayla, every time I see you, I feel everything is perfect. And I can stare at you all day, deep in those perfect brown eyes.
He was just being lame, but somehow it made my heart skip a beat.
How was that? Enough to convince her? Now, if we're done, let's go to class.
Yeah, totally. This continued for days, and I could tell that watching me and Jay together as a couple was burning Heidi to a crisp. She was so distracted by everything that her game was at an all-time low. And even the coach decided to bench her for the upcoming championship.
Don't you think we've gone too far? We should just let it go now.
But the fun's just begun. She's always been mean to me. Have you forgotten the days when she ruined my new shoes? Dad got them for me after saving for months. And what about the time she burned my jersey and the coach screamed at me? She deserves it.
But pulling a prank on her only makes you more like her. Think about that.
Jeez, relax. You don't have to go all Buddha on me. Besides, it's only for a few weeks. She can stay distracted, and I'll perfect my game for the championship. Only the best player will get to go to a college with the prestigious Stanford scholarship.
So that's what this is really about? You want the scholarship?
That's not what I meant, Jay. Yes, of course I want the scholarship because I'm not as rich. But
you know what? I get it. You're right. It was me who got mixed signals.
Mixed signals? What did he mean? I wanted to ask him, but before I could, he flung his bag and walked off. When I tried calling him that evening, he totally avoided my call and didn't show up to school the next day, or for a whole week after that. I left him a text, and all he said was that he was down with a bug. I was sitting in the cafeteria one day watching my favorite MSA videos, when suddenly, Heidi plopped her butt next to me. Trouble in paradise? Where's your boyfriend?
Who?
Oh, Jay. He's not well. Oh, but I saw him at the party last night, and he looked fine to me. Did he finally realize you're too trashy for him? Or maybe he finally got tired of looking at your dumb face every day. Who knows? I got up and left, but I felt bad about Jay lying to me. He said he wasn't well. Then why was he at a party? Or maybe Heidi was just lying to get under my skin. I had to confirm it, so I went to his place to check on him, but security told me he wasn't around. And the next day when Jay showed up, he totally blew me off. Hey, where have you been, and why aren't you answering my calls?
Because I didn't feel like it. Now, can you move? I'm trying to get some practice. The championship is coming soon? Oh, you would know that, since it's so important for you and your precious scholarship.
Are you still hung up on that? I said, I'm sorry, Jay. I didn't mean it like that. Is she bugging you? Is my coochie-coo honey bunny getting annoyed? Jay continued shooting as I stared at Heidi in shock and then burst out laughing. I don't know what's funnier, that dumb dress you're wearing or the fact that you just called Jay all sorts of marshmallow names. Oh, I'll tell you. The funny thing is that you're out of the picture and I am Jay's girlfriend.
You're what?
Oh, please tell me this is just one of your dumb pranks.
Can you both take your crabby fights somewhere else? Some of us are actually serious about this game.
But you can't date her.
Really? Why not? What's wrong with her? She likes me.
I tried to think of a better answer than she's a witch, but just then the coach walked in and asked us to get ready for practice. And then there was never a good time. He was either busy with basketball practice or that leech Heidi was always around him. It made my blood boil. But with the championship coming up, I had bigger fish to fry. I started practicing day and night till my body was sore, and it really helped me to keep my mind off the whole Jay situation. One day before the championship, I was walking home when I saw Heidi and Jay outside a cafe. You have to stop looking at Kayla like some lost lover boy. You need to look happier being my boyfriend.
I'm only with you because I don't want to mess up Kayla's scholarship. I didn't know I had to look happy about it too.
Fine. It's not like I'm really into you either. I just want to make Kayla suffer for what her dad did to my dad. And I know she's hating seeing how close we are now. So you better keep up the act. Just remember, all my dad needs to do is place one phone call and no good university will take her in. She can kiss that scholarship goodbye.
Whatever. I'm here, right?
I wanted to slap the daylights out of Heidi, but just then Dad called and I had to rush back home. And I really needed to ask him what he did to Heidi's dad.
Oh God, that was such a long time ago. Yeah, I went to school with her dad and we used to bug him a lot. He was always trying too hard to fit in and getting everybody to like him, but he wasn't a nice guy. Maybe I wasn't very nice to him either, but it was decades ago. He's 10 times more successful than me now.
Looks like he's still holding on to a grudge and his stupid daughter is taking it out on me. I couldn't sleep the whole night thinking about the whole situation. Jay was my best friend, and that witch was blackmailing him into dating her because of my scholarship. I had to put an end to this. So the next day, I walked straight up to Jay.
Kayla, this is the boys' locker room.
You need to dump Heidi. I heard you two talking by the cafe last night, and I know she's blackmailing you with my scholarship. But Jay, you don't have to do this for me. And stop blinking like that. You're freaking me out.
I just don't know what to say. Listen, Kayla, the scholarship is important to you. And if I can keep Heidi off your back for a couple of days by doing this, then what's the harm?
I don't like it. I can't see you two together.
Why?
Jay looked into my eyes, and I could feel my body melting at his touch. What was happening? I wanted to say something, but it was like words had fallen out of my brain. Was I falling for my best friend? Just then, his teammates called him and Jay left for his match. I waited by the courtside to talk to him later, but as soon as the match was over, Heidi leapt onto him and I couldn't stop myself from pushing her away. What the heck? How dare you touch me? How dare you touch him? I know you're just blackmailing him into dating you, so please, why don't you save face and get lost? Jay, you don't have to date her for my scholarship.
But
don't be stupid, KK, or you'll end up losing everything. You can take away 1,000,000 chances from me, and I'll still make it because I know I'm talented, unlike you, who always gets everything because of your father's money. Oh, sweetheart, money speaks for itself. And right now, I can hear it saying that you've lost your chance of ever getting into a good college. Heidi stomped her feet and left, but I couldn't care less. I was about to confess my feelings for Jay, but before I could, the coach called me for the match. That evening, I played the best match of my life and also ended up getting the Best Player award. I had no idea if I'd get the scholarship, but at that moment, all that mattered was that I was happy with Jay by my side. A week after the match, I was waiting by the lockers when Heidi walked up to me. Hey, loser, I told you you'd never win this scholarship. Why do you look shocked? Oh, you didn't see the list yet? No. I'm shocked because you're still talking to me after I royally kicked your butt last week.
Yeah, and so what if she didn't get the scholarship? She did get selected for the nationals.
I turned around to see Jay smiling down at me. What? I got selected?
Yeah, and you'll be the team captain. Coach just told me about it, so I thought you should hear the news from me.
This is the best day ever! And you didn't even have to date anyone for this. Ugh, I hate you. I'm gonna tell my...
Dad? We know.
Heidi left red-faced as Jay turned to me.
So that was dramatic.
Not as dramatic as your whole, leave me alone, Kayla.
Oh, shut up. You act all smart, but you couldn't even figure out that I
like you?
You knew?
No, but I know that I like you too, and if I have to date someone, why not my best friend?
Not that easily. You'll have to take me out in basketball first.
You're on. Hi, I'm Amelia from Germany. Please like and subscribe. I live in a trailer shed in Berlin because my parents didn't make any money. I mean, I had food, a mattress, and running water, but that was basically it. My parents tried to get me toys and presents once in a while, even though it didn't go too well. I have a present for you, sweetie. They were giving away free books at the library.
Thanks, but you do realize almost all the pages are missing, right? Mom, I have an idea. What if I get a job and then we become billionaires?
You're in the 3rd grade, Amelia. I don't think that's possible. How could I argue with that? But a few months later, things took an insane turn. Mom had to work all weekend, so Dad decided to take me on a camping trip, just us.
And get bitten by 100 bugs? No thanks. I have enough mosquitoes in my room at night.
But Dad insisted. He borrowed a neighbor's van and we drove for 8 hours straight. God, it was crazy. Finally, we stopped at our destination, and I couldn't believe my eyes. We were standing in front of a palace.
I'd like you to meet your grandfather.
Just then, an old man came out, and I was super confused. Then at dinner,
my grandpa dropped a bombshell on me.
I wanted your father to marry a rich woman, but instead he marries someone who can't even buy her daughter a proper bed. I told him I'd only share my riches if he'd divorce her for someone else.
Actually, Amelia, I brought you here because I'm leaving your mom. I can't live in poverty any longer. We're moving in with my father, and you're going to have a new stepmom soon.
You can forget about me living with you. What? You were just gonna kidnap me and never tell Mom what happened to us? I don't ever want to see you. I don't even want to look at you. You're dead to me. How could Dad do something so sick? I had Mom pick me up after that, and when she found out what Dad was actually up to, she was horrified. I didn't see him again after that, and Mom told me everything.
His parents never accepted me, so he cut them off. I never thought he would leave me. I'll never fall in love again with any man.
That's okay, Mom. You don't need to marry anyone, and I don't want another mean dad. We can do this, just the two of us. It turned out we did make it on our own. After a couple of years, Mom finally found a new job that paid more, and we were able to move into a house. Everything was great. I was getting good grades in school, and I had tons of friends. But most importantly, I'd made a life-changing decision. I refused to talk to any guy around me. After what had happened with my dad and grandpa, I was convinced all guys were pigs. If a boy even sat next to me in class, I'd move 3 chairs down, and everyone thought I was crazy for it. Amelia's like an alien, as if she's never even seen a boy in her life. Maybe she thinks she's too good to talk to any guy at our school. Well, I didn't care what they said about me. I had created a boy-free life for myself, and I was loving it until one day my whole world came crashing down. In 10th grade, 2 twin brothers entered our school in a limo. They were dreamy billionaire heartthrobs named Dennis and Leon. All the girls were fawning over them except me. Then suddenly, as I walked down the hall, Leon pointed his finger at me.
You. I want this young lady to be my school guide for the day. You'll escort me to all my classes, fetch me my test answer sheets from the teacher's lounge, and of course, hey, you can't ask her to do all that. She's a girl. She should have someone escorting her. Show some respect.
Okay, first of all, girls don't need anyone to escort them. And secondly, I don't talk to boys ever. Ask any kid in school. And I really don't talk to snooty guys who expect me to be their slave. I started to walk away when Dennis grabbed my arm gently.
Wait, please. I'm sorry about my brother. He can be kind of a brat. He's the spoiled one in the family. My parents give him everything. Let me make it up to you. I'll buy you coffee. You seem like a really nice girl. We can be friends and get to know each other.
Oh, dear God. I tried pushing Dennis away, but he wouldn't give up. He followed me around all day like a puppy, desperate to be my friend. It was kind of convenient having someone carry all of my textbooks, but I didn't want to take advantage of him. Dennis wasn't as awful as I thought, at least not like Leon. While Dennis followed me around, Leon acted like a total arrogant jerk.
Your dress has a stain on it. Don't you have a washing machine at home?
I'm really not interested in your opinion. And in math class, he forced me to give up my seat.
I need to sit at the front of the class near the chalkboard. Otherwise, I can't concentrate.
When I said no, he whistled and 2 of his bodyguards came charging at me. Where did they come from? They were about to pick me up when something inside me just snapped. I turned around to push them away, but when I did, I banged my head against the wall and I totally blacked out. Some hours later, I opened my eyes to find I was in the nurse's office with Dennis by my side holding an ice pack to my forehead.
You had kind of a scare back in the hall, and I wanted to make sure you were okay.
Okay, thanks. But you've known me for 2 freaking days. Why are you all over me?
I'm not trying to be creepy or anything. It just made me so mad when I saw how Leon acted towards you. My brother's evil, and I don't want him hurting anyone else the way he hurt me.
Before I could answer, Dennis told me all about Leon and all the horrible things he'd done to people. Apparently, Leon pulled all kinds of nasty pranks on Dennis, like leaving poisonous spiders in his underwear. But Dennis was most angry about Leon stealing his girlfriend last year.
He knew I loved her. I found him making out with her behind the school on her 6th-month anniversary.
I wasn't sure if it was because my head hurt or I felt lonely, but I enjoyed Dennis's company. After that day, I decided it wouldn't be a crime to hang out with him, so we became friends. Leon kept calling us boyfriend and girlfriend, but it was nothing I couldn't handle. He was just an annoying tease, and I had to put up with it. Then one day, Leon and Dennis decided to throw a huge party, and Dennis really wanted me to go. Fine, but only because I've never been to a rich person party before.
Oh, you'll have a blast. And if Leon tries to bug us, we'll glue his butt to a chair.
I laughed and was surprised how much I was looking forward to the party. I had lots of fun when I arrived, dancing to music, watching a movie in their private theater. Then towards the end of the night, the boys decided to play Truth or Dare. When it was my turn, Dennis dared me to jump into the pool with my clothes on.
Sorry, what? You can't jump in our pool.
Actually, I can because that's the rule of the game. I marched outside to the pool with the other kids, but as I stood at the edge of the pool, Leon grabbed my hand.
You are not jumping in that pool. We had a chemical leak yesterday, and Dennis knows it. That psycho is trying to kill you.
Don't touch me.
Just shut up, dude, and let Amelia jump in.
God, this guy was a piece of work. He just didn't want me to have fun. Then suddenly, Leon picked up a rock and threw it in the pool. And that's when I saw green bubbles surrounding it. There was a chemical leak. Did that mean?
See, I told you. Dennis is trying to hurt you, Amelia. He's been up to no good for a while, and I kept quiet. But this is just too much.
How about you continue to keep quiet, jerk? What were they talking about? Then suddenly, Leon punched Dennis and he fell to the ground. Leon, stop!
Amelia, I have to talk to you.
Just give us space for a second, will you? Leon finally agreed and left me with Dennis. You tried to throw me in a pool filled with acid? That makes no sense. Why would you do something like that?
My brother and I can't have you around. That's all you need to know. I don't owe you an explanation.
Wait, what? As if I want to associate with you, psycho? I could have you locked up in jail. I kicked him as hard as I could and left him there. My God, he was wicked. I couldn't believe I'd ever trusted him. And what did Dennis mean when he said he couldn't have me around? God, I had so many questions. The next day at school, I tried to keep myself focused on schoolwork. I spent all of lunch in the library. But while I was looking through my textbook, someone's hands covered my eyes.
3 guesses who?
Oh, you again. Why are you suddenly being so nice to me? This is all so confusing.
Long story short, our families are enemies. My grandma owns half of Germany, and apparently your grandpa does too. They've been threatening and blackmailing each other for years. So Dennis has been out to get you. That's why he followed you around. And I was trying to be loyal to my family, which is why I was a jerk to you at first. But I should have put a stop to it all earlier. I'm really sorry.
You know my grandpa? All of this happened because of a war between his family and yours?
Yep, it's taken over our whole lives. Our parents were barely around when we were kids. It hurt me a lot, but I got over it. Dennis didn't, though. He especially hates your family. He thinks it's their fault that our parents neglected him. Dennis kinda turned into a psycho in general. Once, he put poisonous spiders in my underwear, and then another time, he stole my girlfriend just to piss me off.
Wait a second. Leon was saying the exact same things about Dennis that Dennis had said about Leon. Dennis really had been the culprit the whole time? God, what a mess! I slept for 14 hours after that day. Leon called me the next day and told me his parents had sent Dennis to juvie.
He set all my mom's dresses on fire when they got into a fight. That was kind of the last straw. I hope you're feeling better, Amelia. I was worried about you. Maybe we could get to know each other a little better?
That's really sweet, Leon. And I'm glad Dennis is out of the picture. But I'm better off not having any men in my life. All they've ever done is hurt me. Still, thanks for saving my life. I hung up the phone, but Leon didn't give up on me that quickly. He kept sending me funny memes and cheer-up messages. He also sent me links to his favorite MSA videos, which I loved, but I never replied to him. Then one day, something wild happened. I was brushing my teeth when my phone rang, and it was my dad. I spit my toothpaste all over the bathroom mirror.
Amelia, tell your friend to back off if he doesn't want to get seriously hurt.
Hey, Dad. Great to hear from you too after 6 years. Also, I don't know what you're talking about.
Your friend, Leon. Why would you be friends with our rivals anyway? He kept texting me to check up on you and be a better dad. Who does he think he is?
when I didn't reply, he turned up at the house. I had to get him thrown out by guards. But next time, I'll do worse.
Dad hung up without even saying goodbye. I immediately video called Leon to find him with a bandage on his head. Leon, you idiot! Why did you go to my dad's place? Did they hurt you?
Hey, no, I'm fine. Just hit my head when the guards threw me out. It was foolish, but I was just trying to make up for Dennis, and you deserve to have someone look out for you.
It was stupid, but I was so touched by what Leon did for me. Maybe not all men were out to hurt me after all. I really started warming up to Leon after that, and we talked often. And on my 16th birthday, I heard a knock at the door. It was Leon, and he was standing there with an envelope. I opened it to find concert tickets for my favorite band. Wow, this is amazing! But you didn't have to get me a present, Leon. You've been a really good friend.
There's 2 tickets in there. You obviously don't want to go alone. No chance I could ever be more than a good friend?
I really can't promise that, dude. But you never know what the future will hold for us.